I've never met a black person that isn't able to admit that oppression doesn't exist anymore, because there are in fact black billionaires, black CEOs, black engineers, black STEM members, etc. And the only reason you're holding yourself back is because you want to be a victim, not because you actually are one.
A lot to unpack here. Let's start with a study done in 2003 where they put equal amounts of applications with white sounding names and black sounding names. For that study, white sounding names were 50% more likely to be contacted for job interviews. And maybe you're saying that was 20 years ago. A lot has changed in those years. Well, they repeated this study in 2023. A study done by Martin Abel and Rulof Berger, and here's a picture of what they look like in case anybody wants to say, well, what did they look like? They found it was a common belief that people with names that were perceived to be black would possess lower levels of education, productivity, and non-cognitive skills. They found that workers that were perceived to be white were 30% more likely to be hired than black workers, not just called back, but hired. And when they were put under the pressure of time, meaning they had to make that choice quickly, these results were only amplified. Now, this is an interesting part here. They found that white people that don't agree with affirmative action were more likely to discriminate against distinctly black names. And here's a surprise to no one to where they found the highest tendency to discriminate against black names. It was highest among men, people over 55, whites, and conservatives. And about 82% of businesses in the US are white owned. But let's look at a little history. In 1983, the average wealth gap between black and white families between the ages of 32 to 40 was $180,000. Now, if we look at those same people, they would be between the ages of 71 and 79, and the wealth disparity between those groups now is over $1.4 million. These numbers are directly correlated to systemic inequalities and racism that have impacted the foundation of wealth for black families in the US. Wealth is something that is built over time and was created generations ago, and black families were robbed of that through redlining and the GI Bill, which I can go over if that was lost on some people as well.